The Hassan Piker Ethan Klein drama is long and complicated with a lot of characters, so I, a verified expert, will perfectly break it down for all you losers who are too busy living to follow petty internet drama. When everything started, Hassan and Ethan were perfectly happy friends who shared an escape pod together. Hassan was a possessive mind with a magma body, and a famous advocate for emergency call centers.
America deserved 9/11, dude.
And Ethan was best known for his capacity to transform into a goblin.
I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
Then, everything went wrong when Panama invaded Nicaragua and killed a bunch of people. Or maybe it was the other way around. It doesn't really matter. This became a problem for the dynamic duo because Hassan hates smoking, so he's violently against anything that even sounds like nicotine, while Ethan's spirit animal is Nargacuga. Or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, their differences couldn't be resolved, and they both left the escape pod and bought their own houses like proper red-blooded Americans. That's where it should have ended, but some things, like disagreeing on the smallest nuances of a complicated and messy international dispute, can't be forgiven. Obviously. So they kept squabbling for months. Meanwhile, the reflective power of the bald is threatening to overcome the radiative heat of Hassan's strong magma body. Thus, it's ever more important for Hassan to maintain whatever controversies or beefs he can to retain his relevance. Every time he says something really smart and well thought out,
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Ethan is there to take note and maybe even make fun of him for it. The audacity. Also, at some point during this whole process, an ice cream man threatened to kill Hassan.
Hassan Piker! I'm coming to kill you!
But Hassan expertly evaded this by never being in the same building as him. Though, I don't think it was really much of a threat in the first place. Hassan's magma body would have just melted the ice cream, and then I don't know what the ice cream man would have done. These people really need to learn their type matchups. After collecting enough evidence, Ethan makes a horrifying weapon where he shows the world all the things Hassan has said publicly in front of tens of thousands of people, accusing him of supporting alt-F4 evangelism. And that's totally going to destroy him because people will finally know what he secretly said in public, and they don't know that already? For his part, Hassan was super upset. So upset he never watched it, but he knew everything was 100% out of context. But then later, when he debated about it with Ethan, he said he was in favor of late evangelism, and he was proud of that fact. And is this out of order? Anyway, that's when Hassan hired a glorified burrito to blow up Ethan's house with a poop bomb or something. In response, Ethan just started throwing lawsuits in every direction. I think he might have sued me at some point. I wouldn't know because I don't have an address and live under a bridge. It's the perfect defense because if someone tries to subpoena you coming from one direction, you just run out the other and vice versa. During this whole process, Ethan kept hitting at Hassan, calling him a coward and a loser and pointing out all of his crimes and stuff. Hassan was then forced to counter with the power of his magma body, which was super effective, I think. What kind of Pokemon is Goblin? I'll look it up later. More importantly, Hassan again used his ultimate move of never being in the same building as Ethan's criticism, which was once again OP. In spite of taking unexpectedly little damage from Ethan's attack, Hassan decided to counter with an attack of his own. So he threw a big W at Ethan, or maybe it was an L, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, this letter used its special move to poop its pants and then cry, which upset Ethan because he had to clean up after it. Meanwhile, a bunch of people you've never heard of were all going to box at an event you've never heard of in some fictional place called Tampa. But for some reason, all the crying and the pooping was so loud and stinky that no one wanted to build boxes anymore and they all went home. After cleaning up all of everyone's poop from his house, Ethan activated his secret trap. This part started about a year ago when a British person started an argument with a Canadian and a chair. You see, the Brit was upset that they were stealing eyeballs that were supposed to be delivered to London and hoarding them in the New World. Now, I don't speak Canadian, so I'm not 100% sure what happened here. I think this is a clip of the Canadian using their traditional war dance to try and call down airstrikes against London, but that didn't work, and it's not really important anyway. What matters is that during this event, Ethan saw the covetous allure of the eyeballs and resolved to use it for himself. Thus, he publicly announced that he'd be having a huge shipment of eyeballs carted to his house, and he specified the time and the route of their arrival. This presented a temptation some found irresistible. In the night, they ran out, ambushed Ethan's eyeball shipments, and stole as many as they could carry. Using this, Goblin Man conjured his lawsuit powers, but they didn't work against the magma because you can't sue a volcano, something I learned the hard way. But Goblin Man was prepared for this, so instead he sued the moons that orbit the magma, and everyone knows you can sue the moon, otherwise Majora's Mask would have turned out completely differently. Now I have to introduce a frog, a pair of pants, and a robot called Caseytron. This is where things get a bit complicated for me, because I don't know if Caseytron is an Autobot or a Decepticon, so I don't know who to root for. Other than that, there's not much you really need to know about any of them specifically. I guess the frog once failed to raise money for a cake.
6250. 9/11 baking stream with Raph and Capri. If we get to this goal by 9/11, Capri, Raph, and I will make the Twin Towers out of a stacked cake.
Which shouldn't be that hard. I mean, they're like $10. Also, apparently the pants make their money by being paid to get naked, which I don't really understand the logistics of. If you are clothes, how can you be naked? It's like an is water wet situation, which it is, by the way. Water is polar and attracts other water molecules to stick to it. Being surrounded by so much water you can't get it off of you. Sounds pretty wet to me. Where was I? So the eyeball heist went off without a hitch, or so it seemed. You see, Ethan planned for all of this and secretly hid a dye pack amongst the eyeballs so he could track down whoever stole them. However, that all went to waste because the frog, the pants, and the robot all recorded themselves basically saying, "We're about to go steal a bunch of eyeballs from the goblin." Obviously, this breaks the first law of laws. Don't record yourself breaking them. Which it shouldn't be this hard. Why do people keep having problems with this? But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure they learned it from watching their dad. His favorite hobby is recording himself breaking the law, and he always gets away with it. This time, however, the consequences have come home to chickens, as they say. Hassan's largest moon, as well as a pair of pants and a robot, are all anxiously waiting to see what happens with the lawsuit. In fact, the whole internet anxiously held its breath in anticipation, for about 5 minutes before getting bored and wandering off. And that's where things stand for now. I wish I could give you something more conclusive, but in the end, it kind of depends on which side Optimus Prime comes down on. At least that was how it was supposed to end, but I'm slow and a couple more noteworthy things have come out. First, the pair of pants have revealed themselves to actually be a rat hiding within a pair of pants by betraying its greatest supporters to Ethan in hopes of earning some clemency. More interestingly, Ethan appears to have embarked on an epic journey to Argentina in the hopes of tracking down the burrito that attacked his house. No one has seen him since, and the last anyone heard from him was an ominous handwritten note he left on his doorstep, simply reading, "No one poops my pants but me." So in the process of making this thing, whatever it is, I obviously did a lot of research. I think that is clear with how impeccably I got all the facts and whatnot. And during that, I found a lot of pictures that I found really interesting of Hassan, and I kind of just wanted to share them with you right now without really any thought or anything. So first of all, we have this. Look at what he's wearing. Look at what he chose to wear this. He woke up in the morning and he said, "I want to look like a homosexual park ranger." And I don't know why he said that specifically. You know, "Oh, I want to be an Italian gay Boy Scout." But he does this all the time, apparently. Because like seeing this picture, I was like, what the hell is he wearing? Why does he look like that? And why does he look so confused? Or intrigued, I guess. Maybe he's being propositioned. But either way, this like sent me down a rabbit hole. Like, what other crazy things has he worn? So here we have Hassan cosplaying as a gay mobster, metrosexual mafioso. Look at that. We got Hassan as a gay cowboy. This is also something he chose to wear, presumably in public. A lot of rings too, for some reason. I don't know why he has so many rings. Very effeminate. This, which I labeled as Hassan as Gambit, but gayer. You'll notice another trend in this, that he's never really like happy that he did this to himself. Here we go. Hassan sad at the beach. He's going to the beach, but he is not happy about it. He's never happy. He's just doing this to himself, and he hates it every time. Hassan as a gay pedophilic youth pastor. And then we have this, where he's really angry that he was called in to be a DM of some random high school D&D game, I guess. Why do you put yourself through this? Why are you trying to dress up as a younger homosexual Colonel Sanders yourself? And I know the low-hanging fruit is that like he wore that maid outfit once, which I kind of gag every time I see it, but that's just part of his job. He's an entertainer. He was wearing a silly outfit because it was a joke. This stuff he does to himself, presumably because this is what he wants to wear. I just don't understand it. I know Hassan is never in a million years going to watch this video. First of all, no one is going to watch the video. But even if it did blow up, get 20 billion views, he'd never watch it because it's all Destiny talking points, for one thing. I mean, it's the biggest accusation Destiny's ever made against Hassan is that he's secretly a giant volcano monster. Like, that's just the number one thing. And also, it's all out of context, of course, as well. But if Hassan ever did see this, I guess my message to him would be, it's okay to grow up. You don't have to be a little boy anymore. You don't have to pretend to be what the 15-year-olds in your audience think they would be like if they were super successful as 15-year-olds. Like some caricature of a person. You can be just like a mature, stable man, an actual good example for them. And they wouldn't resent you for that. They wouldn't hate you for being mature and not a child with money. Ultimately, a lot of children out there are starving for positive male role models. Men they can look up to and say, not, oh man, I wish I had that much money so I could be like that right now. But instead, men that they could look up to and say, wow, I wish I could be as dignified and impressive as him in 20 years. If by the time I'm 80 years old or whatever, I wish I was as mature and responsible as him. You don't have to pretend to be a little gay boy all the time. You can be a real adult man. You're old enough to be a real adult man. Just become one, I guess, is what I'm saying. I don't know. In the end, nothing happens and nothing's going to change.